Hello, my name is Natalie Carney. I'm with CGTN. I'm here in the beautiful city of Milan and in the very popular tourist hotspot of Piazza Duomo. With this beautiful church. Thousands of people come to this city annually to take in this church. However, as you can see, the square is relatively empty. According to people who live here and have spent a lot of time in Milan, this square is usually 4 times as busy as this. I've got one gentleman right here that I've managed to track down in the square. His name is Kenneth. You live in Milan and have lived here for 11 years, right?
Yeah, exactly. 11 years I've been here in Milan.
And what are you seeing right now? How is this city changed due to the circumstances of the coronavirus?
It's actually shocking, and honestly, before it's actually full of people, but when coronavirus went here in Milan, it's actually, honestly, I'm very shocked. This kind of people here right now. The coronavirus was actually very
So you're really seeing the effects, the emptiness on the streets, on the main public squares here. And are lots of shops and restaurants closed around town?
I saw few, but I think some of shop are actually still open. But some of like a Chinese restaurant, there's actually closing right now. But Italian restaurant, I think still open.
And I noticed you're actually wearing a mask. Not a lot of people seem to be wearing the masks, which sort of would give a sense, an impression that people are quite relaxed about it. But you've chosen to wear a mask. Can I ask you why?
Yeah, because I know prevention is better than cure.
Yes.
So I think it's actually more important to be safe than, because we don't know what the symptoms of coronavirus. Actually, you need to wait 14 days so that you can see the symptoms. So I think it's better than to put mask, because you don't know if the person have a coronavirus. So
no, and that's absolutely true. Thank you so much, Kenneth. I'll let you go back to work. I know you're working for a very good organization in the Philippines from Milano. Thank you very much. Grazie, grazie. Stay safe and healthy. What he was saying is absolutely true. Italian forces or Italian officials at the moment are having a very difficult time trying to confine the spread of this virus. First and foremost, due to the fact that they have not tracked down patient zero. They call patient zero the individual through which the virus came into the country. Without being able to track that person down, unfortunately, they're not able to really confine and quarantine the virus itself. As well, we're also hearing that a lot of people that have been deemed positive at the moment, tested positive, have been showing very mild, if not any symptoms of the virus, which is very concerning, and then again, of course, poses another challenge to try to confine this particular virus. We are getting word that there's now over 500 people contaminated across Italy. The majority of them are here in the region of Lombardy. Milan is the capital of that region. It's also the economic powerhouse of the region, so there are a lot of economic ripple effects that we're seeing. For one, the tourism industry, which makes up 30% of Italy's economy, is being drastically hit. We're going to go speak to a restaurant as well in a little while about how the economy has hurt them. But there are some tourists, as you can see, that have decided to still keep their travel plans and still come all the way to Rome and enjoy this beautiful city despite the potential risks that might be there. Hi guys, how are you?
Thank you.
These are my best buddies from Scotland. No, I just met them 5 minutes ago. Can I get your names, please?
Stu.
I'm Tilly.
Tilly, how are you guys? How long have you been here in Milan?
So we arrived yesterday morning. Yeah, it's our anniversary today, actually.
Happy anniversary.
So we didn't really want to change our travel plans. We have been keeping up to date with our own country's recommendations with travel, and they advised that it was still safe to come here as long as you're still keeping your own personal hygiene up, keeping washing your hands like you would usually do. We're not worried really about the risk of the coronavirus here.
Yep.
Would you'd second that, eh?
Yeah, I mean, there's no. As long as you keep yourself clean, I'm guessing. Not touching the pigeons.
Well, exactly. The pigeons is a whole different matter here. But you do realize that due to the virus, the government has put in place a lot of measures to try and limit the human-to-human transmission. And one of those measures is to close a lot of public gatherings and tourist attractions. So has that affected you at all?
Yeah, it's been a bit disappointing. Some of the places that we would have loved to have seen, certain museums not being open. But we're still able to see the beautiful architecture, and a lot of the lovely restaurants and bars are still open for us to enjoy.
Well, that's true. You don't have any queues, then you have to fight.
Exactly. We found actually that it's been a lot quieter than what we thought, so it's actually been very nice that you can get tables in restaurants and things like that. It's actually worked in our favour, I think.
What do your friends back home think about you traveling here? Tourism cancellations, they were already seeing about 30% in cancellation of trips here to the entire country, not just to Milan. So what do your friends back home think? Do they think you're crazy like some of my friends do?
Yeah, for sure. We've had multiple messages from our parents in particular about everything. They're quite worried, but as I say, we're not worried ourselves. As long as we're washing our hands and not making sure not to touch our faces if we haven't, then I think we will be fine.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, we're meeting a friend who's coming over from Scotland tomorrow as well, so they're certainly not worried either. So
Fantastic. As long as there's beer and as long as there's football on the telly. Yeah?
I'm not a football fan. Rugby. So unfortunately, I cancelled the game, but.
Well, that's another thing, exactly. This evening we're going to be going to one of the pubs here in town because there is going to be an Inter Milan game, a football match, but being played in an empty stadium. So people can only watch the games on a live stream, and a lot of the restaurants are not allowed. They're allowed to stay open past 6 p.m., which is a brand new change, only happened yesterday, but only accept the amount of people that are allowed. They have seats for, essentially. So it'll be very interesting this evening to watch an Inter Milan game in a city that is so football crazy.
Definitely. It'll be interesting to see just how they handle it, not being able to actually go and watch it there live.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, you guys, I wish you a very lovely day. Stay healthy, stay clean, and happy anniversary.
Thank you very much.
Happy anniversary. So, as you can see, tourists are still coming to Milan, to the country, of course, as well, Italy. There are cases now pretty much all over the country. Again, the predominance of the positive cases are pretty much here in Lombardy as well, in the northern province of Veneto, which is home to Venice. So there has been a lot of cancellations of public events. For instance, the Milan Fashion Week, they did have a few shows at the very tail end of the week that were cancelled, as well as the Venice Carnival, the famed costume party that is put on annually in Venice and invites and welcomes thousands of people from around the world, had to end a few days short of their previously scheduled end. Sorry, wait, what step? Don't mean to trip. Grazie. There's still a lot of people with, smiles on their face, and people are still shaking hands. People are still giving kisses on the cheeks, which is a very Italian thing. And it's worth mentioning that while cases are rising across the country, the officials are doing as much as they can to make sure that the situation doesn't inflame more than it already has. However, we are seeing from 24 hours ago a 20% increase in the numbers of contaminations. I'm just walking you now down the street. I just don't want you to get hurt. To a restaurant over here. Again, this is one of the main tourist attractions in all of Vienna. I'm just going to do a quick 360 here so you get a little bit more visual of this beautiful area. Thousands of people, I could say tens of thousands of people descend on here, probably even monthly. And what you're seeing now is just only a fraction of it. The region of Lombardy has also locked down 10 different communities about an hour outside of Milan, because that is where patient 1 came from this area. Patient 1 is the individual who was said to have spread the virus much further afield. An inquiry was just started today on Thursday by Italian prosecutors in that regard against the hospitals here in Lombardy, who are being accused of not acting fast enough with patient 1, not testing him quick enough, thereby allowing this virus to spread. So these 10 communities near which this gentleman was from have all been placed under lockdown. It affects about 50,000 people. They are told to stay in home and only venture out when it's absolutely necessary. So it's a very difficult situation for them, as I can imagine. 2 weeks of quarantine is what doctors and health officials have suggested. But again, it's very difficult to stipulate when the virus begins in the body. I'm no doctor, but it could also reoccur again, unfortunately. So let's go talk to the owners of this restaurant here, which again is right across from the square. It's quite busy right now, so hopefully he'll be able to have a quick chat with us. Do you have a couple minutes now? Would that be all right? Just a quick question about the service around here, how busy you have been over the last few days. Are you seeing the same number of people as normal?
No, it's not normal. Every day is very, very busy here, so now it's a big problem because I think the economy from Milan you put down, you know, it's dangerous, crazy. Yeah. It's not dangerous, but it's crazy. You know.
Do you, as somebody who lives here in Milan, are you at all worried? Are your friends worried? I don't see many people wearing masks though.
I don't know. Staying home, the people, you know. So everything is start to close at 6 in the evening. It's dangerous. So, wow, it's crazy.
It's really affecting the life.
The museum, the stadium, everything. The cathedral in the center square. I think is the best famous church in the world, and it's closed because the virus is coming to Milan. I don't know.
Are you at all scared?
Not too much. I think it's not very dangerous. It's a problem only for HUB, you know, the government. Only for this.
Yeah. Do you think the government has taken good enough efforts in trying to contain the virus?
I don't know. I don't know. So.
But you're definitely seeing a drop in the amount of people that are coming to eat at your restaurant.
It's not very busy. It's not very busy, so I have only 4 tables outside, you know. So maybe one more the situation is better, but I'm not very sure, you know. Everything here.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and we'll come and have our coffee here after. Okay. Grazie. Thank you. You too. Oh, the Italians are so lovely. So as you can see, I mean, this is a restaurant just outside the main tourist square. So if there's problems here, you can imagine in less populated areas how the situation must be going on at the moment. Sorry, I'm just trying to read some of the messages that are coming through on this Facebook Live. So yes, as I've mentioned, let me get the latest numbers for you of those that have been contaminated here in in Italy. And of course, this is a big problem not only for Italy, but for all members of the Schengen zone. The Schengen zone, of course, is the region within Europe where open borders are practiced, meaning anybody can travel between these countries without having to go through passport control or even show visas. You can see there's a little bit more police presence out. There's army personnel as well in some corners around here to make sure that that there's no panic that has been ignited. And that's one thing actually that the WHO, as well as the Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte, have really called for. No panic. We're also seeing that the national television channel across Italy has also reduced their coverage in an effort to try to reduce any panic that might be out in the public. As far as the latest numbers, I'm just pulling that up for you. We're seeing 528 have been confirmed in Italy, with 2 more deaths, unfortunately. So we're up to 14 here in Italy. And again, with Italians traveling all over the world and everyone coming to Italy, there is a risk of it spreading farther afield. We have now seen that Algeria is a new country with a coronavirus confirmed case linked to Italy, as well as Romania. 5 other European nations are also saying they have confirmed cases with possible links back here to Italy. So it's an incredibly important move at the moment for the government to establish some really strong protocols that will limit the transfer of this virus. Again, schools have been closed in 5 regions across the north of the country. These 11 communities have been put under lockdown. So there's a lot of measures the government's putting into place, meeting with the WHO in Rome for the last 4 days at the moment, trying to find the best measures that they can to limit this. At the moment, the EU nations, other European Union countries are saying closing borders is not necessary. It would be disappropriate and ineffective at this time. But when we're seeing numbers increase almost hourly, you can only, you wonder yourself if that's a move that might help sort of contain this virus a little bit more. But I don't want to leave you on a sad note here. I want to show you beautiful Milan. People are still, lovely outfits, girls. People still dressing lovely, making sure that they're looking good in this beautiful city. I would love to stand here and say, come to Milano, come see the beauty that this city has to offer. But at the moment, it is probably best to stay at home and to avoid the hot spots at the moment. This city will always be here, will always be beautiful. So once this whole epidemic is over, hopefully all these people will return back to the square. We will see the economy again rise here across the country with the tourism numbers. And all the tourist attractions will be open for you to see. I'm Natalie Carney in Milano. I don't have access to your comments at the moment. I apologize for that, but I'll be happy to answer them after this live. So if you have any further questions, please continue to send them through. Thank you very much for watching. Keep watching CGTN for the latest on the situation with COVID-19, not only here in Italy, but around the world. And until I talk to you next time, arrivederci.
Can I finish? Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Grazie.
I have to.
Bless
They
you.
just told me I
Totally.
need to go.
Sorry, yeah.
Totally.
Thank
I'm
you.
so sorry. Thank you
No,
so much.
everything is fine. Everything is fine.
I want to offer a
I just need
coffee,
to
but
go back to Rome adesso
ah.
Oh.
because